testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Alright. Give it a minute or two to buffer. Probably stay off the stream for this race, so if you want to go into the stream chat.
Okay, yeah, I've got up.
Alright then. Well, with all the preparations out of the way, hello and welcome to Gavra Racing's GT3 series here at the Red Bull Ring. I am Cypher Knight 77.
I am Dutch Muso.
And we're here to bring you a live racing coverage of these guys as they go around this very fast and prominent track on the F1 schedule, but for now it'll be a bunch of bulky GT3 cars going around here, so we won't be seeing times around the 1 minute mark by any means.
Yeah, I think this could be quite an interesting race for a lot of these manufacturers because, you know, in real life you'd expect Ferrari to do incredibly well here because of the straights, but at the same time Red Bull does well every single year, so I think we could see a surprise winner here of all tracks.
So yes, so this is more or less the final race of our mid-European circuit, because in 2 weeks' time these guys will be taking on the notorious Spa 24-hour event, so they'll be getting their practice in for that. But as it stands now in current championship standings, it is Dalavan who does lead a commanding championship performance thus far. He stands on 153 points. His nearest competitor is actually Johnny in the McLaren, who managed to score his second win of the season last week. And Johnny is actually pretty much the only driver to get a podium all throughout the middle season stint. So if he does good again here, he could actually go 4 for 4 podiums in a row, which would pretty much match Dalavan's performance, because he had 4 podiums early on in the season. He's actually searching for his 5th, I believe.
No, he's had 5 podiums. Yeah, if you count wins, then.
Flip, who also got his second podium last week and is looking back in top form, but still very far back from this man who's put on a really consistent performance all season, and honestly quite unexpected from earlier on in the season. Obviously he did get that early win, but a lot of us were kind of counting him out of the contender seat for the Audi duo.
I mean, you know, the Audis look so strong in the beginning, and now they're involved with other people's mistakes. You know, they're falling back quite a bit, so we'll see if they can do anything with that.
Right. I mean, Kaz is definitely only 6 points behind Johnny, and he's the lead Audi driver as it stands. Kev has been trying to get in good performances, but he too has been yet to score a podium finish ever since the first race of the season at Dubai. See, Mike, who was also up there in the timetables earlier in the season, has fallen into ill favor recently as well.
Yeah, with Mike we've seen almost this sort of wave form, a parabola form. You know, in the beginning he did okay, and then, you know, did stellar back-to-back second places, and then at Imola and Algarve he just fell back a little bit, so
And of course,
this will be a key last stint for him.
Of course, the one driver on the grid still yet to score his first podium of the season, Hondax. I guess you could call this a little bit of a sophomore slump. Who's familiar with any sort of racing in general, familiar with that. I guess that's kind of just one of the seasons that he's having this far, but he's definitely not out of it, because he has been in contention multiple times.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just had a couple small things happen to him, and that's through small things he's lost places. So I think for him it's just minimize mistakes, and he'll have to do that.
Crazy, another contender, kind of just been middle of the field this entire season. Of course, he does have that one podium at Oulton Park, but there are some tracks coming up that he might be able to break out at. Obviously, we have Zolder still coming up. Spa's been an okay track for him in the past, so there are still tracks that the Ginetta duo can break out at.
Johnny's got a penalty.
So, one place grid penalty likely for crossing the line out of pit exit. Of course, we also still have to keep our eyes on Vectro, now more or less the lead Porsche driver. Because, I mean, he's already got 2 podiums on the trot, and he could get his 3rd in a row here as well.
Yeah, I mean, to see someone come in and just be able to... Good on him for pretty much bringing Porsche back onto the board, and see what he can do for the rest of the season with that Porsche.
Right. Last week, Evil Dragon subbed in for Bowie, who is actually here this week in the other Nissan cars, so Bowie going for another podium performance from him. He's obviously got one from his win at Long Beach. So there really aren't too many drivers in the field who haven't, been near the top step of the podium at one point during the season. But all that aside, qualifying is still going on. Just had a bit of a late introduction, but so we didn't even go over the circuit guide. But do you even really need a circuit guide for Austria? It's a bunch of straight lines.
But yeah, everyone knows this track from Formula 1, so...
It's a bunch of straight lines with a few curves. I don't think it's that difficult to figure out.
I feel like IndyCar could drive here.
Maybe
this could be a good circuit for them.
This track was in America, maybe, but...
Do they not race in other countries, IndyCar?
They... used to.
So I know they used to race in Australia, I think they had a track there.
Well, I guess this is our trivia of the day. What tracks in other countries did India happen to drive in the past? IndyCar happened to drive in the past.
I was like, should I say something? But no, you got it covered.
Either way, despite his penalty, Johnny goes to the top of the time standings in the McLaren. Balaban currently sitting second though, so 129 looks like to be the time to beat. Honda's currently third with Mike, his teammate, behind him. Ooh, his Honda goes for a small spin there. Just to keep it together though. Continuing down the field, Flip currently sits 5th, while Bowie in 6th. As currently in 7th, Vectro 8th, Hubert 9th, and Kev 10th. So all the times incredibly close actually, pretty much from 2nd to 10th really. Much less than a second separating them.
I think this could be the most competitive track of the entire season because it's such an easy track to drive. So this will be a fun one to watch.
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's deceptive.
Well, no. It's one of those tracks. It's easy to learn how to master. Because to really, maximize every exit is really hard. And that corner 2 is, getting on the throttle. You really have to watch out. But in terms of learning the track, how it runs, it's pretty easy. But then actually, maximizing every corner, that's where it begins to get tricky.
I think that was Kev who went off there. I think trying to get out of the way for there, maybe? Yeah, it was. I mean, despite there being quite a wide track, Kev decided to take to the grass for some reason, kind of taking out the braking markers, or maybe that's part of his strategy.
I mean, you know, if it works, it works. So we'll have to see what the stewards think about that, though.
Taking out the braking boards. That's
I
definitely a
mean,
new
it could
one.
be counted as reckless driving.
That'd definitely be a new one for the penalty system.
I mean, you know, you can, you know, if someone relies on those braking markers, then you go taking them out for no reason. You know?
Either way, well, that's happening. Mike actually jumps up to second, so he eclipsed Dalavan. Flip and Kev also got by his time. Still not able to get into the 129, so Johnny, as he goes even faster, has found a way to set a time just about a second faster than anyone.
As Dalavan now goes second.
I know the McLaren's got a pretty decent straight line speed, but I didn't know. Where was this engine back in 2015?
GP2 engine, GP2.
A little further down the field is Kaz, Kev's teammate and more or less the lead Audi driver at this point. The representative time across the line, it's faster, moves up to 6th. It's not bad. That knocks Bowie outside the top 10, along with Joe, UV, Razy, Jukebox, and Daza. There's a lot of decent prominent names actually near the bottom of this table. And as I say that, Bowie jumps up to 2nd. Still not able to break into the 129s though. Dalavan jumps his time, actually just 100 off of Bowie. And Kev, I think he stays 7th. Kev's jump has been moved down to 8th.
Flip goes second now. Barely out of the 129s.
Daza jumps up a little bit, but only stays 15th.
As Johnny goes into the pits and calls it a day.
Dalavan going to the second car.
Daza now the second car into the 129s.
I mean Dalavan.
Dalavan, whoops.
Guy's really taking it to the limit of just how much fuel this thing's got. Decides to call in.
Trying to see if there's anyone near the end. Vectra? No.
So Flip kind of pushing that Ginetta up to decent position so far. I mean, it's 3rd and more or less the slowest car in a straight line. But of course, you always got to remember what the slipstream can do for these guys.
I mean, I think the last race was actually a pretty good race because you know you can't stick in the slipstream for so long. So
Mondax
we'll have to
is
see.
in. I think it's a little bit of a slower time for Flip, but he goes across the line. Actually, 2/10 improvement. Jumps to 2nd. And if Dalavan can't beat this time, which I don't think he will, then this will... No, he does beat his time. What was going to be Ginetta's first pole of the season has been clipped by Dalavan just at the death of it by a whole 10th.
Let's see what Bowie can do.
He sits 4th in his return race. Unless everyone else has kind of called it quits. Vectro actually currently sits in 10th, so near the bottom half of the field for now. We'll see where his qualifying run puts him, but Bowie going all the way on the grass in the last corner to put it across the line. Where is he going to put the Nissan? No improvement. Ooh, Vector really pushing that Porsche, and I think that's the Audi of Kev getting out of his way there, who might be on an abandoned lap there. You see how much the tail end of that Porsche steps out from Vectro, so it's currently a 10th down though.
I think that's just his driving style with the Porsche. I mean, you know, they are rear engines, so he could actually maybe be using the weight ratio of it to actually maybe corner slightly better than it does.
Alright, I didn't know we had a physics analysis on our hands.
Hey, I'm gonna be doing automotive engineering, I have to know this stuff. But yeah, I mean, this car, yeah, when you're going under braking, you know, all that weight comes to the front tires, but because it's rear engine, you know, you still got a lot of weight in terms of percentage-wise on the rear tires, so, you know, your steering is gonna be not as great as it could be, so you use the weight at that rear end to step out, and then you floor it, tires grip up, and then you're facing the way you want to go.
Well, even with that detailed explanation, he only got up one position, so as it stands,
Yeah,
it is Johnny, but more or less Dalavan is more or less your de facto pole winner, and Flip, who gets third, which will be second. You get how math works. And they get Bowie, Kev Sinel, Mike, Rubert, which I think is actually one of his better starting positions for Rubert, so good for him. And we go to a wet start on the grid.
but yeah, that technique for Vectro isn't going to be much quicker, because whilst it will be quicker if he's, you know, facing someone in a Porsche who isn't doing that, it's not going to be quicker against someone who is in a different car and not doing that, because yeah, it does ruin your ties a little bit, but also at the same time, you know, anyone who knows anything about drifting is not the fastest way around the corner, so.
Right, well, when we get to that, Dalvan is currently your points leader. Can he go for another win today? Johnny, he starts second. Can he go for 4 podiums in a row? Flip starting third. He's got a good chance to get another podium as well. Bowie starting 4th in his return race. We'll see if he can get another win. Kev starting 5th, so a really good resurgence from him. Mike starts in 6th, looking to get his championship back on schedule. Rubert starting in his better qualifying position in 7th. Honda's pretty far down in 8th. Let's see where he can go. Vectro starting really far back in 9th, so he's got a ways away. And then Kaz starting in 10th. Again, looking to try and get his championship back on form. Toby in 11th, up a little bit higher in the grid. Let's see where he can get to after this start. UV qualifying in 12th. Razy pretty far back in the grid as well. Joe starting 14th. Daza starting 15th. Jukebox starting 16th to round off the 16 contenders in this, well, it's looking to be a rainy Austria start.
I think for this race, because it's raining, the start will be crucial.
Of course,
you know, whoever can get the traction first and
right.
speed away.
Of course, everyone to start on 70 or as close to 70 as the game will allow possible. And here we go. 4 red lights to round 8 here at Austria, and Dalavan is off with a lightning quick start. Rubert also gets a good start, but then kind of gets blocked in by Mike. Right, then, oh, that's Toby in the second Nissan there. I think just kind of spun there, but able to get it back going. Oh, and that's this Mercedes of Mike, contact with his teammate, and another Cadillac. I think that's UV. That is UV.
Honda spun out.
No, that's, well, Honda's also lost many positions.
Wait, no, that was Mike, I'm sorry.
Yeah, both Mercedes drivers of Mike and Honda's got in contact with one another in UV, ending up really bad from it. Then Honda's now down to the inside of Jukebox, actually makes contact with him again. Honda's and Jukebox managed to keep it under pressure. Meanwhile, up the front, it is Dalavan from Johnny, and then Flip. Kev holding 4th, and Bowie in 5th, currently as it stands, when getting through turn 5 relatively well. It's Vectro currently now on the back of Rubert. This is up from his 9th place starting spot. But now that it is raining here, this will shake things up, as that is Bowie down the inside of the Audi of Kev's light contact. You guys will be dealing with quite a bit of spray. And that's actually the Cadillac of Dalavan, maybe going for a run down to the inside of Johnny. don't think he was able to get anything from it. But now Bowie, he's really surging. He's pretty much on the back of Flip now, too.
But also look where Rubert is. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, Rubert up into 6th. Of course, he's always been a pretty good... He's always been pretty good when it comes to mid-pack racing, so he might be able to make his way up the grid in conditions like these. But now Bowie under heavy pressure from the Ginetta Flip, who actually lost 2 spots in one corner. I think he kind of got pushed out there. He's actually now under pressure from Kev, who's on the back of Bowie. And now Kev under pressure from Flip, Rubert, Vetro. Many fights going on here. And actually, that's Bowie who went down the inside of Dalavan. Actually got a lot of decent traction. He's actually able to get ahead of him. Just before turn 4, Vetro down the inside of Flip. He's now down to 7th. Oh, as that's Bowie who spun just in front of them. Vetro almost getting caught up. This allows Kaz to come in and take those 2 spots. Vetro not giving up, down back the inside of Kaz. Take 6th back. And yeah, Bowie with that mistake fell all the way back down to 8th. Thankfully no one hit him. Honda's actually all the way down to 15th. I'm pretty sure he still has his damage though. I think had another incident. He's now behind Daza. And both these guys... Yeah, and both of these guys have fallen way far off the rest of the grid. As you can see there, Kaz holding off Bowie. He's just in front of them. Vetro trying to get back in front of Flip. I don't think Flip has the confidence yet in these kind of conditions. And you think the speed would kind of equalize in that genetic. He just doesn't have the confidence yet. Bowie back on the inside of Kaz makes sure to take 7th away. And Vetro now on the inside of Flip. Through the supposed turn 2. A lot of debate around whether this is actually a turn, but for reference sake, it's a turn. To turn 3, Vetro will sneak up into 5th place.
Look where Johnny is. He's already 3 seconds in front of everyone.
Well, Bowie was in the 2nd, remember, and he kind of spun while he was in 2nd, so 3rd on back kind of got held up in that.
It's not like they're getting that much time on him though, so...
So Rubert actually putting a lot of pressure, and this is the Dalavan's teammate Yubi putting a lot of pressure on Razy as well. Oh, as there's contact!
Yeah, you could sort of see far off Yubi wasn't stable under brakes.
Oh
and,
no!
Oh!
And that's Jukebox, who also runs into Razy.
Yeah, you could see from Yubi there wasn't much stability under brake. Oh! That was a bit of a Ricardo at Azerbaijan.
But yeah, while that's happening, Joe's caught up to the back of Hondax. Mike, excuse me. Mike, who is in this, and Bowie, I think, has lost even more time, because he's now fallen to the back of this group. So there's Kaz looking on the back of Flip. We have a couple of lap drivers also coming out of pit road, Daz and Toby. So they're going to be coming out right in the middle of all this traffic. With the blue flags, quite strange to deal with for these guys very early on. But Kaz now down the inside of Flip into turn 3. Looks like the Audi is going to outbrake the Ginetta, although keeps it on the outside, but Kaz got the preferred lane. And actually just up ahead, I think that is Dalavan and Rubert, as well as Vetro, all going side by side. Indeed, that's Rubert down the inside of both of them. Vetro also trying to get down the inside. Goes for a switch back. And now this puts the McLaren. What was I even going to say there? The McLaren up into the best position it's been in a long time. As it's actually Kev Sonnell who's chasing down Johnny while this is happening. So the Audi's taking really good advantage of the track conditions as it stands. Rubert also taking really good advantage of it.
I mean, if McLaren can get a double podium, this will be a very good race.
just going a little bit wide, although considering the conditions, I think the penalties will be quite lenient. Just behind this fight, though, I think that is Joe and Mike going side by side, so Joe getting up into had someone.
But I'm just looking at yeah.
I think someone's out of the race. I can't. Oh, it's Daza. Race.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the standings now, and if it were to end like this with Rubert in P3 and John in P1, then yeah, the McLarens will overtake the Ginettas, and will actually start closing up towards the Mercedes in P3.
Because definitely Flip is looking a lot under pressure, just continuing to lose time as well as positions. You know, while this is happening, though, Bear, who was up into fourth, still fighting with Rubert, slight contact. Not Rubert, Vectro. Rubert and Vectro are fighting, actually. And that's actually the lapped Nissan Toby just in front of these guys.
This is one of the worst areas to get lap traffic, though, because there's nowhere to go if you're going through those corners there. So.
While it's happening, though, Kev has managed to decrease the gap just a bit, although Johnny's keeping consistent. It does look like Vectro and Rubert get around Toby relatively well. Next is Dalavan, and Kaz as though be going by. Kaz actually slowed down a little bit. Flip is actually catching him, and he's bringing Bowie along with him. He's also trying to catch back up.
But Kev is coming with a vengeance, because last race he wasn't very happy after the race with how Johnny was driving, so this could be a bit of a rivalry forming here. A bit of a Nicky Lauda, James Hunt type rivalry.
It's only been 2 races.
I mean, yeah.
Although Bowie, I think, is just actually on the back of Flip, so he could overtake him for 7th to go into turn 4. Indeed, Bowie able to get that spot. So Flip losing even more time now. Bowie looking to set his sights on Kaz, as Kaz now getting held up by Toby. Flip, it's a daring move down underneath, but can't quite keep the momentum. Razy and Hondax battle for 12th. And both of these guys still have damage respectively, but this is quite a unnatural sight to see. I mean, if this was a championship like one season ago, these two were fighting for wins. Back of the rest, really. I guess
It's not odd to see them fight, but it is odd to see them fight for the positions that they are.
But I guess that's just the wacky nature of this league. You know, as you were saying, Kev now in the 1 second gap to Johnny. Everyone else
Oh,
kind of
someone
started.
spun that last corner.
I think that's Hondax actually. Yeah, that is. Hondax continuously getting into issues at the back of the grid as Kev runs off there at turn 4. This is all the time that he built up on Johnny.
He'll be cursing himself for that one, because that will not be nice for him, you know, having finally worked out all that time to less than a second and then throwing it all away in one corner.
Meanwhile, Kaz and Bowie, I think has one of the faster cars, at least right now, because he's right on the back of Kaz. Currently sits in 6th place. Of course, this would be a good rebound for the Audis if they could keep it going like this, both Kaz and Kev. Bowie definitely wants to get more wins on the season as it stands. the one thing we're not sure of is if the rain is going to get heavier or if it's going to stick around for not too much longer. Definitely looks like the sun is trying to poke out in some areas.
I mean, that, you know, if it does suddenly dry up, we could see a bit of a shake strategy for some of these people, you know, for if they pit in early or don't pit at all.
By electing to go around the outside, I don't really see many people try to make an overtake like that. It doesn't work though. Kaz able to hold it ahead.
You know, turn 2 you can't really go around the outside, because to go around the outside you have to brake later, but how the corner runs, because it's actually very acute, it just doesn't allow for you to brake that late on the outside, or much later than the person on the inside.
I was eventually able to get that position. Now currently sits in the 6th, a little slide there. Now sits at sight on Dalavan. So finally, roughly 13 minutes in, we could finally take a breather. So, as things stand, it is Johnny currently leads from more or less the outside pole, although I think he got the pole off the line. And then Kev...
Johnny, no, Dalavan held it for the first 2 laps.
Right. Felt like Kev was sits in second, and Vectro starting to gain some ground back into this race. Currently sitting in third. I mean, he did start 9th after all, so pretty good on the move run from him. Hubert is sitting in a very good 4th. Could potentially get up into the podium by the end of this. That was Dalavan, current championship leader, sits 5th. Wowie.
This is so cool, I can just go through everyone in the same straight.
As comes to 6th and 7th, Flip, who's trying to get back into it, it's 8th. Behind them, Joe is 9th, who is able to get away from Mike. I wonder if it's a tire issue or something, or if he's just giving the positions up for Jukebox.
I think it's just the positions. Johnny's lost a lot of time to Kevin, very few corners.
Yeah, one thing that these drivers definitely have to be careful of is the forming of puddles in certain areas of the track. It's just one of those aspects of this game that you also have to keep in the back of your head, because, well, anyone who's driven over a puddle knows that it's more or less a race killer in some instances.
But it is weird, because sometimes you go over them and it's nothing, and then it makes a huge sound and scares you. And other times you hear nothing, and it's your steering wheel just flicks left, and there's nothing you can do. At least that's the experience I've had.
But on a track like this, because it has quite some elevation changes to it, so most of the pedals will more or less be where the outside curbs are located, and especially during the middle section in section 2, and quite possibly down near the last corner, you could see some puddles forming if the rain persists.
I think these corners here where Kev's going through now is where you'll probably be seeing the most amount of puddles. This little section here.
If that happens, these guys definitely have to take different lines, because, you know, can't take a line if there's just a huge puddle of water there. And while that is happening, Valley is still able to increase the gap over Kaz. You see Vector there in the background go really slow for the last corner. So Hubert doesn't have that much fuel comparatively.
Let's see, yeah, he's actually got pretty much the half of what Vector has got.
So interesting. Rubert might be one of the first drivers to come in for a pit stop, actually, but like I said, we don't know how the weather is going to persist.
I think most of these guys are trying to stay out as late as they can, you know, try and see if it's going to dry up. Because the worst thing is, you know, when you change your tires and then a few laps after that, you got to pit again because it's too dry.
Maybe if we can go on board with Kaz, you kind of see a better perspective.
This is what the drivers see.
Of course, he's definitely also getting a bit of spray from Bowie and Dalavan, that's actually just in front of him, but you can see the sun poking out from the clouds, so it's not too much rain. It's kind of more standing water at this point, so we could...
So if you look at the windshield, you'll see it's not much droplets there in terms of, you know, rain, so I think it is starting to dry up. So.
Indeed, but of course, drying up and a dry track are two different things. I think we are still way too far away from dry tires. Here comes Bowie on the back of Delavan, who's lost a lot of time on that last lap. Bowie actually going a whole second faster than pretty much anyone. He is actually the fastest man on track. Goes down the inside of Dalavan, goes wide off the first quarter, goes side by side to turn 2. Dalavan actually looking to close back up the inside, but can't quite get down. That is Bowie up in the 5th place now.
It sucked. I was trying to get like a cool camera thing from behind, but straight didn't allow it.
Well, I mean, I'd imagine it'd just be full of water anyways.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dalavan slid into that turn. You could actually see him fighting the wheel for the steering wheel. I mean, fighting the wheel to the steering... Fighting the wheel through the window. Honestly, I don't know why words are so difficult today. This is interesting now, because Dalavan was sort of running his own pace. Kind of seems to not be doing too good in the drying track.
You know, coming from pole to pretty much almost 7th now, if Cass were to overtake him. It seemed like a drying track is not his favourite type of situation to be in.
Of course, he is technically fighting Johnny in the championship right now. If things stay the way they are, this will be a huge jump for Johnny in terms of championship standings. Oh, Kaz got really close to the back of him.
Just quickly going to check how many, what the points difference would be. I can see how many points each driver gets. Here. Okay. So 7th gets 10 seconds then. Oh, not 10 seconds, 10 points, and then first gets 30, so that's 20 points difference. 6th first, and then it would be 12, so then it's 18 points difference. Check how much the gap is. There's a 25-point difference between them now. If he loses 20.
That's Rubert who's slowed down.
Oh.
I was wondering why he slowed up if he got a penalty or something, but he definitely slowed up a lot. Lost 4 spots just like that. I wonder why he slowed up. Either that or he had some kind of incident.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you don't lose 3 positions. Once you fall in 3 positions, just by slowing down.
Looks like that. Robert's all the way down to 7th, so this puts Bowie, Dalavan, and Kaz in 4th, 5th, and 6th, and actually just there in the background. He's still sticking in there. That's flip foot. Well, he did lose some time early on. He has been able to hold on to the back of this group. Bear, I think, trying to get back to where he was before his incident. Just to make a move down the inside of Kaz. Kaz blocking to the inside, though, just a bit. Dalvin, Kaz, and Bear all racing for the 5th spot. You can actually see the drawing lines start to form on this track. I mean, it's a one-group track anyways, though, so...
Yeah. Let's actually check the fuel difference again, because... Yeah, Rubert's running very low fuel compared to the cars around him, so... We will have to pit the earliest.
This could actually hurt Rubert, because we're still nowhere near dry racing conditions. I mean, you can still see a spray coming off the cars, and it's nowhere near dry. So if he has to pit early, this could end up really hurting him if the track doesn't.
I mean, it could also be perfect. If when he pretty much is running out of fuel, it also flips to dry, then it would be perfect. But I don't think it would be that short a time.
I mean, this would work if he was up there in 3rd, but he's running down here in 7th, so I don't see this working out for him. So I say that Kaz now looking down the inside of Dalavan in turn 2. It's back in line. Kaz looking to make it a better move. Brakes really late. Dalavan almost shuts the door on him, gives him the chance to cut inside. I think Kaz is going to have a better traction on that inside line. You see a very beautiful sunset.
Still not over though. There it is.
And down to turn 4, Kaz gets into 5th place. Will Rubert try to make a move? He does. After Dalavan slipping just a bit.
It was actually a very good move from Kaz.
Oh, Johnny spun. Oh, and just there on the background, I think that's the Bentley with Joe going off. But yeah, Johnny spun from the lead. Not Joe, Jukebox, excuse me. And this puts Kev and Vetro now in 1st and 2nd. So I wonder if he spun just on that left-hand turn going downhill. So he either hit a puddle or put too much gas while riding on the outside curve. Tough break from McLaren. This now puts the Audi in the best position it's been in quite a while. And this actually helps Galavan in his championship hunt, because now Johnny won't be getting that huge bag of points. He currently sits 13 seconds behind Kev after his incident.
Rubert pretty much touching Dalavan's rear bumper.
With the rain finally starting to pass over us just now, but still nowhere near dry conditions.
And that's pretty much just the last chocolate scene going now.
Oh, was anyone saying anything in the chat?
Pretty much, Joe is doing well 9th. Wet track carnivals in the beginning, and then that track will dry out is Pete.
But when it will dry out is definitely another question. They're currently sitting on 10 liters of fuel, and I don't see this track drying out.
Oh, I'm really far back on the stream. Yeah, Rubert spun, he wasn't going slow, he was just...
I say, I don't think this is going to work out for Rubert. I think he's going to get caught out and have to take wet tires again.
Shit, corner 1 was no rain. At least in the camera there.
Here it comes Bear though, down the inside of Dalavan. So he's flipped the switch to go. On the inside into turn 3. Ooh, contact though. Bear tried to shut the door, maybe just under heavy braking. Moving over. But that is Bear now up into 6th place and get into back of Kaz. Bear going really far deep into 4. That allows Dalavan to cut back to the inside, take back 6th. And while that's going on, Kaz been able to sort of put a gap on these two. Ooh, is it the driver off? That is Bowie. Oh, Bowie's off. I think he spun. He has spun right in the middle of the track. I think he too hit that puddle.
Where Johnny went off.
And here comes...
Got serious damage.
Yeah, that's Flip going by Bowie. Evasive actions taken there, but now this puts Kaz, Dalavan, and Robert in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Bowie now finds himself behind the Janetta of Flip. Bear still finds himself on the back of Dalavan. So it's still raining in turn 1, just a bit. I see it.
Yeah, from that camera though, it's very good.
Well, we'd have to go on board and see the spray. That'll be a better indicator. Just a bit of it at the top of the hill, but you get down into sector 2, you see the difference.
Bear might have a lot of luck when he has to come.
See down here, it's nothing but standing water.
There on the left side, you see it?
Yeah.
That big puddle there.
Now speaking of that, Bowie actually down the inside of Flip, so I think he will take that spot away. Oh, Flip has spun!
At exactly the same corner.
And while that's happening, Kaz, Dalavan, and Robert are all very close to one another. That is Robert going down the inside of Dalavan. He's gonna make the move stick, but she decides to keep behind, just barely touching him. So yeah, a lot of drivers getting caught out in sector 2. I think that's going to be a bit of a danger point for... Why did I do the reference so easily? A danger zone. So easily there.
Actually, Dalavan in a pretty dangerous position now, because he is quicker than Kaz, as he has caught up now and is ready to attack, but he is being attacked from behind as well, so watch what he does, and you have to watch Robert.
Oh, more course, there was a small incident in sector 2, but that has to be cleared up. I was going to say, a lot of drivers kind of getting caught up in the downhill part. Oh, Kev! I think it spun in the same spot. Or not Kev. Ooh, that was...
Vector!
What? Vectro.
Sure, Vector. You got vectored.
So yes, Vectro spinning in the same spot. Just behind them though. It wasn't enough to lose him a spot. Meanwhile, Honda decides to come in early for the pits.
I think he finds the track just dry enough for dry tires. Let's actually see if he does.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if the track is ready for dries.
Getting a couple repairs then.
I mean, as a racer myself, I can tell you, I've had my fair share of experiences with wet and dry track racing, and I don't think it's close to dry yet. I think if you go out on dry tires right now, you'll be a sitting duck.
Yeah, but you know, it is a compromise. If you come out and there's no one near you, then it's actually still okay, because you know, you're driving and you have to stick on the racing line. Other than that, you know, you're still pretty fine. So if you see now, there's no spray on the racing line. When Rivera goes off the racing line, if he doesn't tie Dalaban or Dalaban ties Cass, you'll see there'll be spray from all the tires there.
Well, there's spray in this area in Sector 2, and that's because it's downhill, so all the water is just running all the way down here.
Let's see, there again. From the left side there, you'll see it just reflecting there, yeah. It's one big puddle you don't want to touch, yeah.
Since this area is still very wet, if you go through it with dries, it's not going to work. But Rivera, I don't think he has a choice. He has to come in and pit now. Pit exits a little bit further up. He's now finally in. So Rivera in for his stop.
I'm actually interested to see if he goes for dries or not.
As you can see on pit road 2, it's even wetter.
Yeah, it's because pretty much nobody drives there until the pit stop phase.
You know, just behind them, Flip also deciding to come in, so...
No tire change for Rubert.
That is also a plausible strategy. It could just be fuel only. Oh, just in the background, that's Honda, or no, Mike and Joe? Who just spawned?
No,
oh, no, that was Honda.
Hondax, and...
Yeah, that's Hondax and Joe. It's funny, just at the final corner there.
It is actually pretty bad, because that was a lap traffic of...
Honda.
If he's actually taken him out, then...
Yeah, so Hubert is out and away now. Flip will be following him shortly, although I think he actually is taking tires.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, as he actually did hit the outside there of the barrier.
Yeah, all around pit lane and out coming from it, it's still very much wet. We actually have another slow car that's... Who is that coming out of the pits? That's Flip right now. So that's Yubi who actually got ahead of him. And Flip, I believe, is a lap down along with Yubi. It's actually leader Kev just in front of them, so... While all these pit stop sequences happen, everything's gonna get a little bit confusing. Bowie now decides to come into the pits.
Let's see if he takes any tires.
I think it's Yubi getting out of the way for Johnny. Let's just see. Yeah, Bowie now in the pits, so it's gonna be under a little bit of pressure, although Joe kind of got held up.
Bowie is taking tires. A little bit of problems on the left side there.
It's Joe coming through. He'll take 7th momentarily. Or 6th, excuse me.
Very good. Yeah, Rubert's gonna come out in front.
Actually, while that's happening, I think we have a battle for 4th. Yeah, Kaz and Dalavan are going at it for 4th. Or, not Kaz, Dalavan. There is one other... Who is that? Is that Flip and Yubi? Oh yeah, it was. I think Yubi was trying to get into the pits, so I don't think he slowed down Flip too much.
Oh, UV has retired.
Oh. Stick the depth of it there. Now Vectro coming into the pits.
Let's see if he takes tires, because Vector's taking tires, we saw... Oh, not Vector, Bowie's taking tires, we saw that. Will Vector take tires? To me that is a bit of the question, because if Vector takes tires now, then it does seem that it was a bit more of a wise choice, but Vector not taking any tires.
I think the call
Yeah?
I think the call right now is to not take tires.
I mean, if you see now, you know, the track's not wet, there's no spray, so... And you don't want to overheat these tires because that will just send them over the cliff instantly almost.
Vectro is out in the way, so he will stick in fourth. Mike now coming into the pits.
Joe will not overtake Mike. In that sense. Well, no, he's way ahead, never mind.
Kev, now your leader in pits. Johnny following him in.
Well.
Oh, did Kev? He slowed down there. Did he miss his pit or something? Oh no, his pit's right here.
I think maybe the pedal there.
Definitely slowed up.
Yeah, Kev going for tires. Is Johnny going for tires? Yeah, Johnny's going for tires as well.
We've got quite a lot of time on Vectro. That's Mikey here going away right now. And that is Kev coming out of the pits. Johnny's still taking quite a lot of time. So this will allow Vectro to pass him while he's... Could lose a spot to Joe for now. Because Crazy is currently fighting the bear. Johnny is out in the way in fifth. Bear, who's down in eighth right now, so he's at the back of Crazy. He's got Bowie following him. So now this has kind of become really confusing. Bear now on the back of Crazy. Goes down the inside. Will take 7th place for now. Bowie coming up on them as well. Johnny now coming up to the back of Vectro. While that's happening, Bowie did overtake Crazy for 8th. Crazy might be coming into the pits this time. Next time, but Johnny gets a really good run off of Vectro. 6th stream and he's already passing by turn 2. So Kaz and Delavan still out there. Those two have not yet pitted. And they've still got plenty of fuel to spare, actually. This is Bowie still trying to keep up with Hubert. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Slight slide there from Bowie, but look at the times. Flip has actually been setting the fastest times so far. The 131s. As of Dalavan doing the 135 even. So maybe if we put everyone's fastest lap so far, maybe that might help. You can definitely see that Bowie and them, who did pit right now are looking a lot faster than the leaders, even though they're on lower fuel. And actually, and Robert going side just a bit there. Valley up the inside of Robert in the turn one. He does slot that Nissan into 6th place. Robert's still following him. Just in the background. Barry's looking to pull the slipstream, can't quite get the run back down the inside. Oh, are you unmuted or are you just taking a break?
Oh, I muted myself. Oh, I'm so dumb. I was gonna say, I do think tires, taking the dry tires was the better strategy. Because seeing how much the dry tire guys are gaining on everyone around them.
Currently, as it stands, I think, well, I don't think that Flip is definitely the fastest guy on track right now. I think they're roughly like 3 seconds just ahead of in terms of lap pace. The lead guys.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I don't think this is gonna be Honda X's podium race. But actually, look here, Johnny's gained a lot of time to Kev, so try could be beneficial to him. I mean, if you look at last race, he gained 4 seconds.
Definitely everyone's true pace starting to show now that it is pretty much dry conditions right now. As we're just reaching about 16 minutes to go in this race. Feels like it's flown by, really.
Yeah, this has probably been one of the best races of the season. Probably contending with the last race. We might actually have to do a vote on the last race for what the best race was. We've had some really good races.
Bowie continuously getting away from the bear. Razy, I believe, who still hasn't pitted. Or maybe he did pit earlier on, but him and Flip are now converging now in terms of the difference of lap times. But yes, still while that's happening, Kaz and Dalavan still have yet to pit. With 15 minutes to go.
I mean, to me right now, it seems stupid to stay out because you're in wet tires, so you are going to be the slowest of the bunch. But to continue racing on sea, you're just losing time every corner now with those tires because you will be out braking yourself. You will be struggling for grip, and you will have overheated tires.
You have a spinner. Is that Kev? That is Kev who spun out. Just at turn 3, excuse me. So Kev, who was your eventual race leader, has now allowed Johnny to get in front of him, and actually is now being challenged by Vectro. While that's happening, Flip did get in front of Razy. So Flip will try to chase down Bear.
Yeah, I just don't think those wet tires can keep up with the dry tires in these conditions. You can see they're in the corners when they have to brake.
Vectro!
Oh!
That's the puddle there, catching him out.
Yeah, now that it is dark, it will be hard to see the puddles. Let's see if Bowie maybe. I think, yeah, they're sort of learning to stick off those curbs there. Actually, I want to see if the curbs are still there. It does seem like it's dried up a bit.
No, it's still there.
No, it's still there, yeah.
But as
Johnny's still in the 130s.
But I was saying now this could actually bring the race into Kaz and Dalavan's favor because, I mean, the pit lane's here not that long. If they were just looking to do a gas and go, which honestly might be the preferred strategy right now.
No, I mean, they're still going to lose so much time on, sticking on their wet tyres, against Johnny, Kev, Vectro, Bowie. Pretty much, Johnny, Kev, Vectro, excluding Vectro and Bowie, have all taken dry tyres, and you can really see it because in that small time, they've gained so much time against everyone else. Look there, Johnny, his last lap on 130.5, Cass's last lap at 134.9, so it does demonstrate wet tyres wasn't the way to go. Ooh, as Bowie has spun
Johnny.
it.
No, that's Johnny, is it? Yeah, that's Johnny.
Now the question is, does he have damage?
I
don't think so because his light's still on.
But there was contact with the wall there, actually. Some kind of contact. But all that time that he gained...
There is a fight somewhere behind me, but I can't find it.
I think it's... Rubert? Yeah, it's Rubert. Yeah, it's Rubert and Flip. So Flip finally on the back of Rubert. But I was gonna say, due to that spin now, all the time that he gained on Kaz and Dalavan might go back into their favor. This Flip's still putting a lot of pressure on him. He's going to make the move down the inside, not quite. As Kaz has decided to come into the pit, so this is still your fight for the lead. If Kaz decides to make a gas and go, he could technically get out in front.
And if he's gonna, the question is if he's gonna hold it. Because no, he's not gonna get out in front. Look where Johnny's already.
Johnny coming through the second to last turn right now. Just about 10 minutes left on the clock. Flip now down the inside of the bear into sector 2. Got the lap car of, I believe that's Mike, just in front. While that's happening, Johnny does indeed get into the lead. Excuse me, that's Hondax. Kaz will actually get out in second, though, in front of Kev. And Dalavan is still in the pit, so he might have taken tires.
Now it's up to Kev in the last 10 minutes to catch his teammate.
Actually, all three of the leaders are right there, though. So, stands as now Razy decides to go into the pits. So Johnny is only 2 seconds in front of Kaz, but I don't think Kaz took any tires, so I think he's just gonna hope to keep that Audi ahead of Vectro in the last 10 minutes. So now Kev is looking like the definite favorite to maybe go up there and challenge Johnny. Definitely though, if anyone makes a mistake, caught up like that.
Yeah, this is not a time you want to make mistakes. I mean, you will lose a position if you make a mistake. Now, everyone is within at least one corner of you. So.
Speaking of Flip, though, he's really putting up the pressure on Dalavan. Dalavan, I think, had a mistake earlier, or no, excuse me, he's just coming out of the pits. So Flip is really trying to keep up the pressure and hunt him down.
I don't think Dalavan took tires, so for Flip now, he has the ultimate advantage. He has newer tires, he has...
Still gotta be very careful. Some parts of this track are still very slick. Kinda saw with Johnny, though.
Yeah, and also, there is still that puddle up there.
Speaking of that, I think that is Bowie who spun off the last turn. It is.
Yes.
I think both of his lights actually got knocked out from that.
Yeah, it did have contact. You can thank his lucky stars that the circuit is so well lit. If this was Spa, then we would have had a couple more problems.
Not entirely though, the first sector's pretty dark.
It's just this back straight, but you can see it pretty well still.
Well, we're not in the driver's perspective. But still got quite the gap from Razy, who is actually... No, not Razy, Mike. Yeah, Mike who's actually fighting Razy right now. So Razy, after his pit stop, is looking to get into ninth. It's his teammate Flip on the back of Dalavan. Just goes clean around the outside, and it's actually Kev right there. So Kev had an incident. So now Kaz is way further away. So Kev having an incident. Yeah. And now Flip is coming back into this race. On the back of Kev, he's really showing the genetic power.
Something we never thought we'd ever say.
Kev, yeah, he forced it down back the inside. Major contact, and it's still contact actually.
I think that was a sort of a nudge of, hey, I'm still here, you can't just force me off.
I think Flip was expecting Kev to kind of back off there, but Kev knows the obvious power disadvantage, so if he can make some gains here, not quite still a side-by-side. While Dalavan's still just waiting in the wings.
This is what I wanted to do earlier.
Race a little bit on the grass, actually trying to get a bit of a switchback. Hits the back of Kev. May not be taken too lightly. Flip able to go around the outside of the Audi. That is Flip up into 4th place now. Vectro's still far ahead. Johnny, I think, with another mistake, has allowed Kaz to catch up.
Maybe a small little half spin somewhere.
Meanwhile, Kev now under heavy pressure by Dalavan. While that's happening, Rubert's been able to catch up just a bit while these three were fighting. Just in the final 5 minutes. Still a lot left to be decided. But Flip's pace has definitely come alive in the dry conditions.
This is sort of what I said. I think this track isn't really about raw speed or power. I think it's whatever car can get the best launch.
Bowie's had another incident.
Ah.
Yeah, he's out.
He's done. That actually might be engine that's died if he's actually hit the inside wall there. Yeah. Or he might have just thought, screw it, I'm done.
Well, this moves Mike and Razy now up into 8th and 9th place. Razy and Joe actually fighting for the last points of the top 10.
I think the timing sheet's a bit broken because
I know,
they are still a little bit.
They're close enough to each other. That's all I meant.
Flip's actually caught up to Vectro. He could make this a second podium.
Either Vectro's made a mistake or Flip's pace has just been unbelievable.
I think Vectro might have made a small mistake.
Either way, this could be Flip challenging for a second podium in a row. Be his 3rd overall podium. And with Dalavan behind him, this will give him some chance in championship standings. Of course, Kaz still on his older tires, I believe, not able to close the distance on Johnny, so Johnny's able to pull the gap back out again. While that is happening, Dalavan and Rubert are still very close to one another as well. So Dalavan could still potentially lose 7th.
I mean, they are both on the same sort of tire strategies. This will be as fair a fight as it pretty much will ever be.
Meanwhile, Joe actually has caught up to the back of Crazy, so that battle will go on, or just a little bit actually. It was closing in. As well as Flip closing into the back of Vectro. I think Crazy was one of those who's sticking on his older tires, so that's how Joe is able to catch back up. Flip now, though, is in the very back of Vectro. I think...
There are actually droplets coming back.
Yeah, it's some of the earlier clouds kind of coming back. But I don't think it'll have any hindrance on the race, though.
No, but it would be a bit interesting if it went on a little bit longer. Oh, Bowie says his engine blew.
Well, yeah, that's what we thought, because he kind of smacked it with the front of his car.
Bowie, you want to do an interview after the race? Considering you're watching. Might as well ask when I can.
And although while this battle for 6 is happening, the battle for the final podium spot also happening. Vectro and Flip still very much close together. Joe, I think, had a bit of an incident because he's now fallen quite far behind Crazy. With Johnny crossing the line, actually, we might go for 2 more laps. Luckily, I don't think anyone else is that close on fuel.
Quickly check. Rubert's actually right behind the Dalavan.
He's actually going to get onto the inside of him down the front straight. There, let McLaren muscle to work. It's up in front of Dalavan. So both McLarens now ahead of the Cadillac.
And Bowie says he's a bit too angry to do an interview, so I'd say that's a fair enough analysis of the situation.
No. I was gonna say, look, I thought he had an incident, but he's actually just on the back of him. I was going to say Bowie did drive quite an impressive race earlier on. He drove pretty much up to 2nd before having incidents of his own. Flipped down the inside of Vectro. I think, though, we still have 1 more lap. It was a bit of an argy-bargy, but Flip manages to make it through. And is Johnny going to maybe perhaps slow down? No. So Johnny not able to get around for another lap. He will win at Austria to make it 4 podiums in a row and 2 wins on the trot. Kaz finally back in championship contention. He finishes in a great 2nd spot. And Flip going for his 2nd podium as well. He will finish the final on the podium spot. Vectro to finish 4th, though. He was almost going to make it 3 podiums in a row just before the last sector. Kev to finish 5th, putting himself back in this contention. Rubert finishing 6th. Pretty good effort from him, although I'm sure he would have wanted more. And Dalavan just kind of salvaging his day in 7th. Further down the field, it is still bundle of disappointment for these Mercedes guys. Mike finished 8th, Hondax in 11th. And Raised, I'm sure, also had high hopes going into this race. He'll finish 9th. And Joe, who was actually catching up but had an incident there late, will finish on the cusp of the top 10. Toby to finish 12th. Bowie with his destroyed engine looks to finish maybe 14th actually, because Jukebox went out of the race just at the end. So that might have to be figured out. And then I believe UV and Daza were only 2 DNFs there. So yes.
In terms of interviews, Kev and Toby always reliable. They are willing to do one. See if we can't get anyone else.
I can imagine what they'd have to say after a race like this.
Oh, and Vectro is a bit angry at Flip Flip for that last second maneuver. But I think we'll have to check that one out another time.
He kind of went for the podium, and another piece of notice, barely anyone got any sort of penalty today. Although
I think there wasn't actually a single penalty.
The rain helped with it, but you know. As it stands, it is Johnny 4 podiums in this length of the race and nabs his next win. So this will really put him in championship form. Kaz in second and Flip rounding off the Janetta podium. And Vectro, Kev, Hubert, Delavan, Mike, Razy, and Joe your top 10 here at Austria. So, just say it's your drive of the day.
It's a bit of a tough one because, you know, Johnny did do a pretty good job at getting the gap, but it wasn't, you know, that smooth from him, I guess. I'd give it to Vectro because he came from, what, 10th? Back to 4th, so that was actually a pretty impressive job from him.
Yeah, I was going to give it to Vectro as well. He did start pretty far back down the field and was up there pretty much while the rain was still going on, so I think we're both kind of in agreement there. Didn't get the podium, but he was definitely there by the end of it.
I think maybe he was caught a little. He was maybe caught napping at the end there by Flip Flip, but
You can see though Johnny did indeed get the fastest lap, so if not for his grid place penalty, this would have more or less been the perfect race for him again. Johnny really from sort of getting himself into championship condition to fight Dalavan, who had a less than spectacular race today. It's actually been some time since Dalavan has had a race this bad.
yeah, I think it was just a bit unfortunate in terms of strategy. You know, they waited really late to pit, and that sort of left them wide open to attack. I'm surprised Cass actually managed to hold it up there, but
Well, everyone else was kind of fighting.
yeah.
Are you going to see if they're... Oh, you're looking in the Discord chat now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll just quickly suggest them. You have to invite them this time, then. And the Toby.
Alright, well, stay tuned. We may have driver interviews, assuming... I mean, they were pretty mad last week, and the week before that, so... It's been nothing but aggression on the track, or off the track, more or less. Yes, I have. Thank you for noticing.
Oh, and Dazza said he left slicks on at the start of the race, so that could explain his issues.
Well, stay tuned. We'll see if we can get a word from the drivers. Audi and the Nissan driver. Of course, it'll be up to steward interpretation how all that stuff goes. I don't think anyone really did anything wrong per se. I mean, yeah, there was a bit of bumping, but...
Wait, have you invited them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think there was necessarily anything wrong with Flip's move. It was the last lap, and
I mean, it was a, you know, I'll give. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit argy-bargy, but you know, you didn't actually force him off entirely, and both stayed on the track.
albeit I think Vectra had to sort of give up a little bit of speed.
No, I mean, Vectro pretty much got taken off guard, and you know, I think he thought, you know, last couple of corners I'll take it safe, but
Hi there, guys.
Hello.
Hello,
I
Kev.
completely missed the invite, sorry.
That's
alright.
fine.
We were just talking about what happened behind you, actually, or in front of you.
What did happen behind me, or in front of me?
Between Flip and Vectro, because they actually did have a small incident on the last lap.
Oh. Yeah, I could see them fighting in the end. But my crew was stupid enough to put wets on instead of slicks. And I swear I put hearts on the pit strategy.
Yeah. Well, it kind of worked out in the end. I mean, you did still manage to keep it in the top 5.
Yeah, true. If the game would have given us one more lap, or at least if there was one more lap, I would definitely have catched Vectro and Flip because dries are so slow on wet surface.
Yeah, we thought there was going to be another lap
but
too.
you know, Johnny. Yeah, but like Johnny was actually going pretty quick. I don't know if he put wets on too, but a couple of the boys that we did see changing tires were going quite a fair bit faster than those who weren't.
Yeah, no. I did change for tires, but my pit crew put some wet tires instead of slicks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Johnny was really fast in the end, as well as Cass. He was pretty consistent, and Vectro and Flip were also doing really good. They all deserve it, to be honest.
Right, there's... So in terms of questions, what did you have planned during the early rain stint? Because obviously that kind of caught everyone off guard.
What I planned during the early rain stints?
Like, I mean, you obviously were up there, and then kind of fell back a little bit.
Yeah, I fell back because of the tire change, the wrong tire change, I think. But at a start, I was catching Johnny, then I spun, and then I got really confident on the brakes and the throttle. So I was catching him the second per lap, and then he was getting really quick too. So we were kind of showing the same lap times. And then I caught him again, and then right in front of me he spun in the infield chicane thingy. I don't know why, maybe because of the puddle on the inside. Then I drove on. Had a pretty good race in the wet. I'm quite happy it did rain because I had a lot of fun in the rain and I was pretty fast in the rain. But then the pit stopped again.
Right.
Hello everyone.
Hello,
Hello.
Toby. Well, obviously we saw what happened with your teammate, but how'd the race look from your perspective?
Well, I love Red Bull. It is my absolute favourite track, and I felt pretty confident tonight. Qualifying wasn't too bad. I think I could have had a little bit more in qualifying. Yeah, then the race started, and my camera was stuck up on the gantry, and I saw the lights go out, and I thought, okay, my camera's going to fix itself in a second, and it didn't. So I started off the race in spectator mode, which was rather irritating. Somebody hit me from behind. I went into the wall. Obviously, it's totally not their fault. I wasn't moving, so yeah, I understand that completely. And then I did the rest of the race. I obviously pitted then, and then did the rest of the race with a bit of suspension damage. And yeah, I didn't want to pit again because I wanted to try and retrieve something. I actually didn't manage to in the end, but because of suspension damage I didn't realise I had. But I love the track, so I still enjoyed the race very much. And it was definitely an experience starting the race from the air. It was like an out-of-body experience.
Well, it's definitely a new one.
I've never seen that before, but I did, when I pitted, I recorded the video of it. So I'll definitely be posting it, because I don't think anybody would believe me otherwise, because I've never heard of that glitch before. It's a new one on me. I've had all of the glitches, the one where it won't change your tyres, the one where you go into the wall in the pit stop and get stuck. But that was a new one to me.
I actually have never had any glitches in the any time. Apart from
Impossible, this game's full of them.
yeah, I know the game is full of them. I never had any of them. Yeah, well, I did have one tonight, but that's the only one I had.
Yeah.
Well, well, I guess we'll start one at a time. This was sort of a resurgence race for you guys at Audi's after, you know, it's been not the greatest few weeks for you guys.
No, it wasn't the greatest last weeks, but I think I am pretty consistent now with many fifth places. At least that's what I can remember. That's probably not right, but I'm actually quite happy now. I'm not really frustrated or anything to not be at the top. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with this result tonight. I first thought it was gonna like rain in the championship admin's chat, and then I was like, no, not rain. And then when we were on track, it felt really good. I felt really really confident on the brakes and on the. That's why I was catching Johnny.
Right.
Probably.
Well, I guess now shifting to Toby, when are we to expect your breakout race?
Sorry, when what? Are you cut out there a bit?
When are we to expect your breakout race?
I was hoping it would be this one, because it really is. It's my favourite track, and I know if I hadn't have had those issues at the start, I would have finished much better. Not sure if I'm honest with you. BRNO is another one I'm relatively confident at, so yeah, I'm hoping maybe postpone it until then.
Wait, what's the next track?
Spa.
Spa. Oh.
I'm happy at. I like Spa. I do.
So do I, but I've raced there before, and some of them, well, actually, all of them were really bad. I think I feel pretty confident now. I think next week is gonna be a really good race for me. I think. Let's make that clear. I think I'm gonna be good next week.
I've had mixed results at Spa. I have to be completely honest there. I've had some really, really good ones, and some, well, that we won't talk about.
Well, you got a break week though, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. And next stint, the academy is starting. Pretty excited about it, as I'm the host.
Yes.
The what is starting?
The academy.
The academy, the Project Cars
Academy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think I'm gonna do good at Spa. I mean, the Audi isn't the fastest on the straight of the whole pack. It's actually one of the slowest on the straight. But I think I'll be fine next week.
All right. Well, we certainly hope that you all keep doing your best as well. It's always a pleasure to watch you guys.
Thank you.
And it's always a pleasure to watch the stream back.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Yep. And it is. It really is. You guys are great. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
So,
I was gonna say, I suppose we'll end it off here then.
yeah, I was about to say.
Alright, so thank you all for joining us here. This has been the second leg of the GT3 stint, so obviously next week will be on the break week, but when we come back it will be the longest race of the season at Spa-Francorchamps in 2 weeks' time. So I've been Cypher77.
I've been Dutch Muso.
I have been Kev.
And Toby.
And we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time, so stay tuned for more racing action.